And to all the other comics out there performing online to no audiences, back off. That's my brand. I've been doing that since 2013. Three, two, one. Ta-da! Thank you. Okay, that's it. Welcome to another episode of Running Late, the making of an independent late night show. I'm your host, Matthew Struck, or Matt Struck for short. And today is crazy. I have 2 podcast recordings, and also we're gonna be filming some band footage. So to start off my morning, my friend Emily Frembgen, who's been on the show several times.
I was gonna say, it must be impossible for you to get a slice of New York pizza here.
Oh my God, yeah, I miss New York pizzas. Has anybody had New York pizza?
So before we go into the conversation with Emily, I wanna show you her music video for her song Silver Lining, so that way the conversation makes more sense. So check it out. Cool.
Are you looking for me? I'm looking for someone. Where can you be? Someone.
Early to bed, early to rise makes a woman healthy, wealthy, and wise. That's why you're wiser than me. Hi, I'm Mike, and if you're watching this smoking a cigarette, well, hit the fast forward button, because I don't smoke, and I don't like people who do smoke. Looking for the goddess. Are you the goddess? Who is the goddess? I'm looking for someone to feel special about. And I don't find that person very often. And I'm hoping that you're one of them.
We'll just start, we'll get into our origin story, you know? So I remember, like, yeah, one of my first movie theater jobs, one of my first jobs was at the movie theater, Stars at the Tivoli. And what I loved about it, which I didn't realize, was that all of us movie theater folk were, you know, like kind of connected in this network just by way of seeing movies at each other's theater. And I don't remember who invited me. Part of me wants to say it was Chris Simpson that was like, hey, there's like an Obama party or something. And I was like, sure, why not? And I think that's the funny part about all this is that we say like, sure, why not to things, not fully realizing that by like going somewhere, you open up this whole entire timeline, you know?
Yeah.
And then, you know, that would eventually lead to us becoming musical collaborators. And then the opportunity of me moving to New York with you and our group of friends. And I just think that that's so neat, you know. Part of me makes me worried of like when I casually say yes to things, am I agreeing to a whole new adventure, you know?
Sometimes you go to a party or something and it's a bust and you make nothing magical happens and you make no connection and there's nobody cool to talk to. So those are the moments to cherish.
Well, and you know, I've been thinking about this a lot lately about kind of like romance and romantic life. And you know, not like romance in the traditional sense like relationships, but more of leading a romantic life. And I feel like really grateful that me and you kind of had like a pretty cool like area in our 20s of just like making music, playing shows, you know, being part of the like as obnoxious as they were, the DIY scene to me. You know, like I always had this like relationship.
But at the time, like, you know, it's that cliche that you wish you enjoyed it all more. But yeah.
Right at the time. Well, I love too is like a whole like circle of just creative people, you know?
Yeah, it was really cool. I was thinking about that photo shoot. Just the fact that you guys were just there to be spectators.
Yeah.
We should. Can we on this video put a picture of it?
Yeah. Take me through again what that was like.
I don't even know. Like we were at
Craigslist thing?
At the tea house, right? At the tea house, there was. Remember the guy who did the photo shoot? I don't remember that person's name or.
I don't remember. No.
I feel bad because what if they're like a Facebook friend? But yeah, this person was like, "Oh my God, I must photograph you," and it's gonna be this Grecian goddess thing. And it's like, ooh, that sounds great. And then why were you and Chris at my house for it?
I think we were there as bodyguards.
Oh, right. Like
in case things went down, you know?
Was he in there? I don't know.
Yeah. And then I remember the pictures coming back and just being not what you imagined.
Yeah, I mean, it was so I feel like he spent a long time on my makeup and hair and stuff, and then it was so weird. I was just thinking about how it must have been for you two. It's been so weird, but I think we were probably all drinking a lot.
Right. Yeah, there was kind of a general haze. I think that's like a part of like kind of the really late night universe that I also like to play with, which is when we have high ambitions but low resources, right? So like working with like, you know, like actors off of Craigslist or like people who agree to be celebrity impersonators that I meet on Craigslist. It's like this weird thing that I love it when we're all reaching super high, right? Like this is a photo shoot and then the pictures came back all awkward and flat. And like,
the thing is, it feels it feels the same when you're in a creative process.
Hmm.
It feels like, oh, I'm doing something important.
Right.
It feels the same. I feel like even if you're doing something like with higher production, it doesn't feel different. Like, I don't
Right.
know,
Right.
like the adrenaline comes into play.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
I feel like,
and I think, yeah, like it's all about context, because like in 1,000 years, if someone saw two photos of like me from a photo shoot, one's bad, one's good, maybe they can't tell. So really
yeah,
it's like what it was like when you're making it. And, I think we have to do those like not so great things in order to get better. Because
yeah.
like, the last photos that I saw where it was like that like American Western backdrop,
Mm.
um, those are really great.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's just by nature of like staying there and staying in a state of yes, I think
Yeah, you
allowed you
have
to do
to.
that.
Yeah, yeah. I've made many. There've been many yeses that I've yeses in my life to lead me to where I am now, which is not a bad place. Like, I'm making this album, and I
Right.
with great people, and I made the video, and I think it's getting progressively better, one would hope.
Oh
And
yeah. No,
for
that
you,
last video was really great too.
yeah, thanks.
Like in terms of like where we started, when I saw the video, I was just like, it is so cool to see Emily like I it's the real deal, like you're really doing it. And I think on a certain level, me and you are actually kind of spoiled because there's a lot of people who have creativity who never even like publish things or record things, or
Yeah,
they like, and I forget that. I forget that not everyone's a creator, that there's a whole like class of people that are actually too afraid to even put things out because it is
I
really vulnerable.
yeah, I'm always reminding myself, like, there's a lot of people who would look at us and have a lot of envy for
No,
what we
totally.
do. But
Well, and
it hasn't been easy. We haven't taken the easy road.
right. Well, and what we've sacrificed to, like for me,
Mhm.
especially like even when people have kind of messaged me and say like what you do so cool, I really look up to you, and it's like, yeah, it does come at a cost though, like I don't have as much money as I would like, but that's okay, and that's not why I do this.
Yeah. I mean, definitely the pandemic has got me thinking, like, why didn't I ever consider making money? I grew up so poor, and I just like never cared at all about money. But getting toward, you know, closer to 40, I'm thinking about it like, why didn't I try to go to college and actually get a job? But
Yeah.
um all I want to do is music. And
Yeah. Well,
there's people with cushy jobs who look at me and wish they were doing what I was doing. So
yeah. No, totally. Well, like, I was having as positive as I come off on these things, I do like struggle with it. And I was having a pretty rough day last week and just like same feeling. Why did you do this? This is like a really hard life. And then in the voice in my head said, shut up, dude. People look up to your broke ass. Which was like a funny response.
it's really, I mean, and we've met people in all walks of life, and people who are successful, who have notoriety, who have great jobs. Like, everybody has regrets.
Yeah.
And the way we've led our lives is to explore every corner of our passions, and to make sure we're not going to regret not doing something. I think we've
Right.
always been aware of that.
And we both have like pretty big challenges, right? Like if our talents are in creation, we're also in charge of like booking. We're also in charge of like editing or recording. Like me and you have always been pretty much having our hands in the whole project because we haven't had resources. And I grew up poor too. And it's just like that world of
just having to do it yourself. And
Mhm.
part of me wonders if it also has to do with knowing you can't like rely on people.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
doing
we
it
are
yourself.
both very self-made. And I don't meet a lot of people who are really like who
Yeah,
don't have like, these nice homes to go back to and
right.
all fallback plan Bs. And
Yeah.
we
Well,
both yeah.
and like also too, as you know, as minor as it might seem, what we have is like a different kind of value. Because if you type either of our names into like YouTube or Spotify or Google, we show up. So instead of
Sure.
us like chasing money as a resource, we've basically been chasing like sharing our art. And if
Yeah.
someone stops their 9 to 5 job tomorrow, they
Mhm.
can't like get back the last 10, 15 years that they weren't making
That's
something the
true.
way that we decided to stay, you know?
It's true. I
And you got to deal with like the small weird setbacks, like when we went to that Illegal Pete's show, and that was when we first started playing shows, and I was like super amped to just be on
I'm
stage.
so excited.
And
Yeah.
then I remember like at one point this thought did cross my mind of like, that seems like kind of a late time to start a show. I think it was like 10 or 11, which actually isn't late. I don't know why I thought that. I was so naive.
It is though. For a
Yeah, it
show.
was weird. It was like, that seems like something's off. And then we ended up walking into Illegal Pete's, which for people who don't know is like a burrito shop, like a locally owned Chipotle, right? Like one of those burrito places. And I guess they did shows.
Yeah, they have a stage. They had a stage set up, right?
Okay. Yeah. I don't know why. Maybe just like I thought of a different one. I don't know what I was thinking. And
Was
like
that after the
we
wax
showed up.
did together?
Oh yeah. That was a
Was
lot
that
of fun.
yeah? Was that before?
That might have been before. Like I feel like was it me, you, and Pleistocene? We
Oh
were all at
yeah. Because that Wax Track show that we did together was the first show I've ever done.
Which
I
was a
remember
great show.
so
Like for a
terrified.
first show,
I
like to be
guess.
doing it for that many people at such an important like place.
Yeah, that's true. But I was so I was so scared. So just I have to remind myself that just having been on stages in front of people is huge.
Mhm.
Because I was petrified. I was so
Yeah.
scared of that. So
I was too. And actually, that's another kind of component of kind of my drinking is that I would just get so
yeah.
anxious. I would need it to like calm down, which is
Mhm.
like such a temporary fix because then it just doesn't work. And I'm like a sloppy mess.
Yeah.
And nowadays I still get nervous, but I have like better ways to kind of deal with it.
Yeah,
And
that's good.
also I've just gotten more comfortable, you know?
Yeah, I mean that's the big thing with drinking.
Yeah.
It's it's definitely managing social anxiety.
Yeah. Which I think
So,
is another thing that we share, you know?
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to the point where it's like, well, the only time I can play a show okay drinking is if I have like a drink on stage and not a drink beforehand.
Mhm.
But it's so hard when you're getting paid in drinks. It
Right.
just yeah, it's really it's feeding it's certainly feeding an ugly thing the whole
Yeah.
way that
Yeah.
paid is
And
up
not everyone has a
treated.
problem with it, but I know that and I wish I had kind of caught it earlier. Just because it really did alienate me more from like, me and my friends and us too, if I'm being honest.
I think you caught it just in time though. Some
Yeah.
people don't realize it until way later. And
Well,
I
yeah. And I meet some people who their drinking career is longer than I've been alive. And I look at them like, how did you do it? I was like, maybe I'm like, I don't have the fight in me. Cause at a certain point, I was like, I'm tired of this. And for
yeah.
that, I'm like grateful. Um,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think
And
you learned a lot from it. I think I wouldn't regret any of it, you know.
Yeah. Well, and it taught me a lot, and that's what I'm trying to kind of experience now, is the gratitude for um, that the spiritual lesson that it gave me is bigger than um, had I not had it. Because, like, I don't know if you knew this, because you knew me in college, but when I was in high school, I was like straight edge and like really like pious and thought I was better than everyone. And I'm so much happier now that I'm like a humble, normal person than like, I don't know what I would have been, some sort of asshole, you know?
Yeah, I really strive for normal.
Mhm.
I don't think most people understand this who haven't had like chaotic upbringings, but I'm always striving for normal. And
Yeah,
I think sometimes I'm not like weird enough for some people. Like I'm not like outwardly weird enough, but they don't understand that I'm just like trying to feel safe and normal.
yeah. No,
Not that,
totally. Yeah,
um,
well, now that I'm starting to kind of like date people, it's like,
woo!
yeah, it's like I see things and I'm like really wary of it's like, man, I don't know if you're stable enough to me for me, because I can't recreate a chaotic childhood is what I'm saying, you know?
I'm learning this a lot, and I am in a really good place right now. I live with my boyfriend,
You live with your
who co-stars in the video, and he has a solid job, and we have a nice place with like our own space, and yeah, it feels so solid,
Yeah,
so much solid than I have felt for a long time. And I have realized with the pandemic how important that is to me.
totally.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
how I've let other people take it away from me and make me question that and question what I need. And it's really important to listen to yourself and what you're.
totally.
And
Well, and I think that comes with experience and age too, because that's something that I did not understand, and now I can totally feel it. Like when you say it, I know it and believe it, you know? I love that you also have a creative element in your relationship too. Like that's something that I really want actually, and that's kind of part of what I'm searching for in like a partner. But I know that that's not easy either.
Yeah, it's kind of it's hard working together and being together.
Hmm.
We actually met in a musical together. We were in that the Lee Harvey Oswald musical together.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so you can watch on YouTube. Me and
Yeah.
Lee, Jason Trachtenberg's thing. But that wasn't my. I certainly am never looking for that, like a
Hmm.
creative partnership. It just kind of happens organically.
Yeah.
Um, and I think if you're looking for something so specific, it's kind of a recipe for disaster. But I'm really lucky. Yeah, my past relationships, we were really creative together.
Yeah. Well, and I
Mm.
think like people like us kind of naturally flock other creative people too, because they're like, hey,
So,
what are you working on? This is cool. Can I help? And of course we need help, you know?
yeah, but yes, of course. But also, I'm not that easy to work with. So
What?
it's sometimes I'd rather keep it separate, but it's impossible to
Yeah.
not be creative together. So I
Yeah.
try to tone down the craziness.
Hmm.
But yeah, I'm weird. I'm very impatient. I want things
You're
to
great.
just be I just don't it just like if something is taking too long, I get so frustrated, which is we're the opposite in that way.
I love the concept of the new videos so much, especially because in our friendship, you've always been the one to share with me like kind of strange videos, like those dating videos, right? Or
Yeah.
like we used to watch that dance tape. I forget what that was called.
Oh,
With
what was that?
the dude who's like an instructor and it's like hip hop dancing, but like not made well.
Oh yeah. Yeah, me and Ian had a lot of great videos.
Yeah.
Remember the violin instructor?
Yeah.
He was like yeah.
So did you who came up with that concept, the like dating videos
Well,
por-
my initial idea was that I was going to be speed dating,
Mhm,
and I wanted to use all these weird dudes that I knew already in New York as the bad dates.
mhm.
So that was my initial idea, and that was about a year ago. And then that just like didn't work out for various reasons. And then it kind of, I was like maybe video dating. And I was talking about it with Mike, and he really likes that 80s video montage, which I've seen around,
Yeah.
right? Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, and he was like, I could play all the characters, and especially in pandemic, that makes a lot of sense. And I was lucky to have Drew. Drew wanted to work with me again. So yeah, I just all the elements fell into place really well in this case. And we have this cool apartment now, and so we're able to utilize it. We put up this groovy wallpaper.
Yeah, yeah. And if it's any testament, when I was watching it, I was like, whoa, like, did they end up like, there's this website called, I think it's called Peer Space or something, but you can rent out spaces for like music videos or photo shoots. And I was
Hmm.
like, huh, I wonder if that's their place or if they found a location because it looked so good that I was
Yeah.
like, that it was a location, and I mean that as a compliment, not that I would be like, she probably lives in a dump. It just like looked so vibrant and beautiful. I was like, oh, I wonder if they like tracked that down. So
It's funny how just like everything fell into place, because we had been just working on this place. We moved in here in July, I think, and we've been working on it so much because there's like nothing else to do.
mhm,
And just like we ended up having just like a really great setup for it, and everybody was available, and I had the track all ready to go. So it was one of those
yeah.
things where I always feel like my timing is just terrible throughout my whole career. But
Mm,
right now, it feels like since time has slowed down, I can kind of catch up with it.
yeah. Well,
Make
and
the
I
album.
think our commitment too um will and is being rewarded. Like there's many ways to kind of win, and one of the ways is just to kind of outwork everyone else.
Mhm. Yeah, be the last one standing.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, like maybe isn't the preferred way for everybody, but it shows like resilience and stuff. I think it's beautiful. I think it's great.
It's like
I
being
love
the last
there's
creep at the
there's so
bar.
much about there's so much about too that like that Silver Linings and like that video, your cover of I still think of your cover of I Want to Dance with Somebody.
Oh yeah.
There's like there's kind of this like beautiful self-aware presentation of like longing that
Mm.
when I see you do it, it like connects to me so much as a person because I think that I have a lot of like longing in my life. And now I
Yeah.
can understand it from an artistic lens as opposed to just like feeling it in my emotions.
Mhm.
But it's really beautiful. And the way that that video, it just like is arm after arm of these
Mhm.
characters holding you and just the disappointment. I feel like
Yeah.
that is such a real like fucking feeling. So like you do something similar where you're accomplishing something that's true and funny and sad at the
Yeah,
same time.
I'm really happy with how that turned out. Like, I
Yeah.
didn't have to explain much to Drew, and they had all of these ideas of their own, and I feel like it was I didn't do any work. Like it just kind of everything fell into place. Like I've been setting up all these dominoes for 10 years and then I didn't really have to do anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
That's
great
cool.
job.
But I just want people to now at this point when you put something out like that and you feel like it's impervious and it's just so hard to get people to watch it or like what now, but
Yeah.
that's the nature of
No,
this thing.
yeah, I feel you. The first couple like episodes of like really late night were getting such big like numbers and shares, and I was
Mhm.
like, sweet, we have arrived. And then if there was a graph of people just like they're like, cool, all right,
Mhm.
you do that now, you know? And I was like,
You
how come
know,
people aren't sharing as much? And it's like, okay, I mean, it ebbs and flows, you know?
right? Yeah, people's attention spans are so finicky. I mean, mine is. It's really hard to like listen to a song for me. I don't know.
Really?
Yeah, or just like I don't know what that is. The way the internet is wiring our brains is
I
no
believe
good.
it because I'm not able to watch movies like how I used to.
Right, yeah. Yeah.
And I think it's also a switch from like passive entertainment to interactive entertainment, right? So like commenting on someone's like Facebook thing is interactive, or liking someone's photo on Instagram and commenting is interactive. And I think we're experiencing a shift from just sitting and watching something like
Mm,
TV and movies, unless it's really good, which it's
yeah.
hard to mimic, you know?
Yeah.
But I feel you. It's kind of scary.
Yeah. What are we gonna do, man? Just
I don't
go with
know. We're gonna all become TikTokers.
I can't even understand how to like log into that. I don't I can't.
I like installed it and uninstalled it like 4 times before I finally got it. So,
Mhm.
and same with
It's just
Snapchat.
those short mediums are just so I just can't. It's
It's
just
super hard.
yeah, and it's just like so bad. There's some TikTok things I like, but I look at it on Instagram.
Yeah. Well, the cool part is that it is changing. So what I do is I like look through it and see things that I feel like I would enjoy doing. Because I'm not gonna be like dancing, you know, but there's
Yeah.
other stuff
You're
that
a
I'm
great
like, oh, cool.
dancer.
It's more my speed, you know.
But you're a great dancer.
That's true. I do got sick moves, but I kind
Yeah.
of have to save them for, the person I love.
It's weird.
Yeah, just send them individually made TikToks of me dancing. Do you
Okay.
love me now? Do you love me now?
I think we're getting to some of your problems.
Yeah, that's what I like about this. This podcast never stays on brand on topic too long before my problems start to
Mhm.
swerve in.
I knew they would.
It's me trying to offset the price of therapy. So instead of like just paying her, I'll do a bunch of free therapy.
Hmm.
Cool.
Well, this isn't free.
Love isn't free.
No, this isn't free.
Oh
You
right. I'll
pay
send
me.
you. You invoice me.
Okay.
Cool. Um. Yeah. I think this is great. Do you
Yeah.
wanna? Is there anything you want to kind of like advertise slash plug? Not with those words, but.
Well, I got my album coming out.
Mhm.
We should be done by the end of the year. It's called It's Me or the Dog. The title is because the last one was called My Cat from Hell, which is a show on TLC or something. And I saw that there was another show like that called It's Me or the Dog about bad dogs.
Right.
I don't know what
I don't know if I told you this, but like when I first quit drinking, the first time when I tried, what I decided to do was spend my time watching My Cat from Hell to just help me kind of like feel better and distract myself. And I
Good.
love that every episode it's the same format. Like
Mhm.
there's something really comforting about that kind of TV where it's just the same problem, the same host, the same like fight, and then the same resolution, you know?
Yeah, it feels. Oh, we've been obsessed with Married at First Sight.
Oh, I haven't seen that yet, but
It's
I do need
so
something new though.
and it teaches you a lot about relationships, genuinely. But
Right.
yeah, it's really comforting to know exactly like what kind of thing they're about to say, and like there's just
Right.
structure that we're lacking, especially right now.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and in My Cat from Hell, similar, It's Me or the Dog, there was always this uh what's the word I'm thinking of? You know, it's like you need to get rid of that cat or I'm leaving, you know, and they
Ultimatum.
would feed them that line. Ultimatum, that's it. And they would feed them that line, and it's so obvious that it's fed to them.
No, I
But
didn't say
like, not everyone's gonna leave their apartment. Like, not every
that.
single person in that show is gonna do
Yeah,
it, you know.
it's
But for
really.
storytelling purposes,
I mean, those cats are pretty work pretty. They were like from hell.
yeah,
You gotta have things where they can go up high.
right. That's the thing. They either perch or burrow, you know, and you got to know your cat. Are they a percher or a burrower?
Yeah, you gotta give them both options.
Right. Because who doesn't want options? That's the other thing about the pandemic. I was like, I feel so bad for dogs. Dogs should be on walks like 3 to 4 times a day. Like after
Yeah,
I had to stay inside, I was like, I can't believe dogs have to live like this.
yeah, it's true. But they seem fine.
Yeah, they're just happy to be around us.
Yeah, dogs are.
Awesome. Well, I'm just so happy that you know, you were one of the cast members that stuck around in my life. And also, it is super inspirational to see someone else who's willing to just keep working no matter what through all the ups and downs, you know, because every year that pool of people gets less and less.
Yeah, true.
And it kind of solidifies that I'm not crazy or
We might be
irresponsible.
crazy though.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter. It reinforces my belief. And I think people like call you crazy till it works, and then they're like, "Oh, I see," you know?
We're gonna be the next Lizzos. Mark my
Mm,
word.
yeah. Well, and I think that's the big thing is that we can see and feel things in our heads, and we're trying to convince people that that's what's possible. And until it does come out, people are not totally sure whether or not it's possible, you know?
Yeah,
But yeah,
it's our reality, so
right.
we're gonna keep doing it.
hmm Well, you're amazing, Emily. You're
You
super
too.
funny and talented and committed.
Mm.
And, you know, I love you. You're great.
I love you too.
Oh, God.
To listen to more of Emily's music, I actually have a bunch of links in the comments. And yeah, I'd say follow her and just, she's so talented and amazing that I would appreciate it if you just showed her some love. Little known fact, one of the first music videos I actually made for Emily, and it was shot on a Super 8 camera. So that is also going to be included. Thank you so much for watching Running Late. If you enjoy this segment and you want to see more behind the scenes, consider joining the Patreon. For as little as $5 a month, you can help me continue living this wild, weird dream. And you know what, even if you just look at the page, or if you give likes, or if you send me a message that says good job, that is plenty. I want to thank you so much for watching, and all of you are amazing. Thanks.